What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Movie Battleground. I'm your host for today, Chad Webb. I'm not Aaron. Why am I here instead of Aaron? Well, because this is a Movie Battleground match between Aaron Connole and Papa Jacob West. This is a grudge match or a grudge match following Papa calling Aaron out multiple times in the show's history, and Aaron has given him the honor of playing him. So yeah, let's actually go ahead and start introducing these guys. Let's introduce first, with a record of 3-4 with one knockout, Papa Jacob West. Papa enters this match off the back of a win that started this year, but more than likely, I'm sorry, I'm reading off notes that Aaron sent me, but more than likely with the same I don't give a fuck attitude he always brings. And he's got a buddy here to talk some shit. So what's up, guys?
Tato, I realize I'm not good at numbers, but I knocked you out, right?
Yeah, something like that.
And I knocked out Zach Shelton, right?
I believe that is how that happened.
Did I knock anybody else out? I think JD got a point on me somehow. Somehow that went to 4. Oh yeah, that says the stupid Twilight. That's 2.
Stupid Twilight.
It's also my fault.
That's 2. Why does that say 1? Those aren't the same. It's missing something. It's missing something. There we go.
All right.
That's fixed.
That's what I'm here for.
Now that we have that over, Chad, thank you so much for doing this. This is Papa's Revenge Tour. I took out Zach Shelton because he is very annoying and kept going, I want to take on Papa. I want to take on Papa. Zach, it did not work out for you. I'm sorry you had to go through that. I watch that match daily so that I can relive that. This is what happens when you call out Papa. But to be fair, I started out taking debate super serious. I wore a shirt and tie every time I did this. And then something just clicked of, I don't know why I'm doing it like that. Because who cares? Because it's not anybody's, it's not up to you. It's like driving on snow. I just did that earlier today. You think you're in control, but you're not really in control. So I should just quit caring. I should just not do it, not do this. And then Aaron pops up. Hey, Papa, did you sign my contract? You're contractually obligated to compete, and I'm going to make you compete whenever you want to. Okay, fine. Fine. I didn't realize I signed a stupid contract. I didn't read it. Don't read anything. Don't sign anything without reading it, apparently. That's a life lesson you can all take. So we're here. I don't want to be here, but Aaron's making me be here. So I'm going to force him to be here also. Aaron, you asked for this without actually asking for this. Does that make sense? Yeah, that makes sense, right? Yeah.
I have no idea, but I mean, it sounds like you just want to get into this. Let's go ahead and drop you guys into the back and introduce your opponent. So introducing second with 5 wins, 3 losses, and I think 1 knockout. Aaron Connole. What's up, man?
Chad, how's it going?
Pretty good. Yeah, all it says here, Aaron wants to crush Papa. That is all.
Yes, I have 5 things I would like to say, and then we can start the match.
All right.
First, I apologize for getting your record incorrect, Jacob. Maybe if you cared more about the matches, I'd care more about your record. Secondly, well, this is going horribly because I forgot the second thing I wanted to say. Oh, you did some math, so I want to run some math back for you. I knocked out the guy that beat you twice. So what does that make me to you? Third, only one player here has a positive record. There's some more math for you. Fourth, you asked for this. multiple times, more than once. Like after you infectiously went after Zachary's ass, you decided to call me out. So here I am tonight. And fifth, I think you already said, which is I'm going to crush you. You continue to make a mockery of me in my league, so I will now make a mockery of you, Papa. You don't have a small ass. You have a big one. And I want all of it, baby boy. So let's get into this.
All right. Sounds good. Let's go over these rules. All right. Movie Battleground is a best of 5 or first to 3 points wins. Each round of debate is worth 1 point. If one competitor earns the first 3 points in a row, well, that's victory by knockout. If it is a 2-2 draw at the end of 4 rounds, we go to the tiebreaker blind round. More on that if we get there. Transition rounds 1 to 4. Competitors were given the questions ahead of the match and have had time to prep their answers. It was written by me. So there you go. So if you have any problems with the questions, take it up with me. The first stage of a question is 60-second opening. The second stage of a question is a 2-minute expansion rebuttal period. The third stage of a question is the 4-minute open debate discussion. And the fourth stage of the question is the 60-second closing. Then the 3 judges will be brought on screen, during which they'll give their judgment of who won the round. We have myself, we have Zachary, and then we have Andrea. And Aaron is the favorite, and he chose to go first on questions 1 and 3. So Jacob will go first on 2 and 4. So now we'll get started. Ding, ding, ding. Okay. Question number 1. So recently, and I'm going to say this because no one chose this actress, but recently I saw Titanic, fell in love with Kate Winslet all over again. I was like, well, shit, I think she should have won over Helen Hunt. So I wrote this question. What is the biggest Academy Award snub in the category of Best Actress? I gave them, I said, it can be a snub as far as like they weren't nominated, or it could be someone who was nominated but didn't win, and you could just use whatever you want in your argument for that. So we will go ahead and start this question. Aaron begins here. So you get that timer up. You can start your 60 seconds whenever.
Actually, bring in the timer before we start. I should probably do that. Okay. So I'm going to take the first bit of my round here to congratulate Movie Battleground, because this is our 150th match, and I don't need those 5 seconds to win this round. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this to say congratulations. Secondly, this is a very wide berth question, because the Oscars have been around since 1934, which means we have nearly 100 years worth of films in which you could argue for an actress should have been nominated but wasn't, or you could argue for a nominated actress should have won, or you could argue that an actress who wasn't nominated should have been nominated and won. So there's just a million different facets to approach to this question. So I had to, after ages and ages of research, I had to kind of just take it back and think, what is a film that, to me, when I think of snub, stands out? And so I went with Scarlett Johansson's performance in Lost in Translation. And I'll get into more detail as to why I'm the 2 minutes, but it's essentially because all of the creative pieces around her were nominated, but the most important piece of the film was not.
And that's time. All right, so now we're going to transition over to Papa for his opening minute, and the time will start when he begins speaking.
Stretch. Be sure to get your daily stretches out before you start kicking Aaron's ass. Yes, I'm good with this being in my time. Aaron, I love how you actually had to prepare for this. This was very easy. There's a very beautiful woman out there known as Amy Adams. Amy Adams has been nominated 6 times for Best Actress / Best Supporting Actress, but has never won. And that is a snub in and of itself. But I'm here to tell you that in 2016, she gave her best performance ever in the movie Arrival. And the biggest Oscar snub is the fact that not only did she not win, she was not nominated at all. Okay, maybe Emma Stone outperformed her. Maybe you can say that. I don't think she did. I think Amy Adams did a lot better. But to not get nominated, Oscars, what's wrong with you?
And that's time. All right. So now we're going to go into Aaron's 2-minute expansion. Time begins when he begins speaking.
Okay, so I want to start off by 2 minutes by making a very quick and clear distinction. I am arguing for Johansson should have been nominated. I'm not saying she should have beaten Charlize Theron for the Oscar, but she certainly should have been one of the 5 nominees. And I think that you arguing for Amy Adams taking the win as well as nomination is where it hurts you. Because quite frankly, Emma Stone gives probably the best performance of her entire career that year. And while Arrival is a great performance, I think when you look at Amy Adams' performances, specifically even the one she was nominated for, I would argue her performances in films like Doubt, American Hustle, and The Master alongside Joaquin Phoenix were much stronger performances. I think the material in that film allowed her to bring more to the performance. I think it allowed her to act off her fellow actors more, and I think it allowed her to give something else. Whereas in Arrival, the centerpiece of the film is Denis Villeneuve and his direction. And the movie picked up nominations for all of that. It swept nominations in the technical awards. It also picked up a nom for Eric Heiserer's script, which makes sense because it's a very wordy film. But in terms of performance, Amy Adams' character is mostly very understated, and it's a lot of exposition dialogue. You're constantly trying to explain to the audience what is happening because the vast majority of the film is focused on communication with creatures of which you cannot understand, because they don't speak English or any other traditional language on the planet Earth. And so the vast amount of her performance is explanation. I would argue that she is just as good in this film as Forrest Whitaker or Jeremy Renner, and I think all three of them were not nominated for the exact same reasons. Vice versa, you flip over to Lost in Translation. This film is an actor's paradise. It's basically just one-on-one scenes the entire film. It got a Best Pick nom, a director nom, a actor nom for Murray, and a screenplay nom. But the film doesn't work unless Scarlett Johansson delivers the performance she does in this film. She connects with her character clearly so much, and she grounds the film because she is the character who grows the most in her journey.
And that's time. All right. So now we're going to go over to Papa's 2-minute expansion. Time begins when he begins speaking.
Aaron, you can have the best script ever written, but if it is not given a proper performance by a top line actor/actress, you just wasted your script. Yes, she had an amazing script to work with, but she took that and capitalized and gave an amazing performance. You don't think that's her best performance ever? You're wrong. It is. The fact that they take time and interchange it in the movie. So at one point it's in the future, at one point it's in the past, and at one point it's in the present. Confusing, doesn't make sense. You have to have a good script and you have to have a great actress to get it to work. Guess what? You got both. Yes, Emma Stone for La La Land gives a good performance. Okay, she does singing and dancing. I guess that's why she wins, because everyone knows that's why Rami Malek won for Bohemian Rhapsody. But you also have Isabel Rupert in Ella, Ruth Negga in Loving, Natalie Portman in Jagging, and then Meryl Streep and Florence Foster Jenkins. You cannot tell me that Amy Adams did not outperform all of them, especially all of them but Emma Stone. You can say all you want. Scarlett Johansson gave a great performance in whatever movie, Lost in Translation. Oh, hey, that's the wrong year that I have. But you're right. Charlize Theron definitely deserved her Oscar. It's hard to see all the other nominations out there for your year and think to yourself, Scarlett Johansson should have done that. This was definitely a lot better than her last performance, which was Eight-Legged Freaks, but I don't see it enough to warrant a nomination, let alone to consider it the biggest Oscar snub of all time.
All right, and that is time. So now we're going to get into the 4-minute open debate. Yeah, let's see these guys duke it out. Have fun, guys.
So I want to lead off with, again, the question is entirely semantical. I think that the truth is there is no one definitive biggest snub. And I don't think you can genuinely sit here and say in the history of film, Amy Adams 7 years ago was the biggest acting snub of all time in the category of Best Actress. We're arguing for films that we clearly both love in which the performers weren't nominated. My thing with Adams is And you're right, it does take a good actress to make a great script work. But what I'm saying is, because this movie is mostly expositional dialogue, there's not a lot left for herself as an actress to input into the character. I think if this script was worse written, there aren't very many actors who could elevate it. But as the script is brilliantly written to the level that it was Oscar nominated, I think you could sub out Amy Adams and sub in most other actresses, and they would elevate the performance the same way that she does, because the performance itself is not the centerpiece of the movie. It is the scope of the entire thing and what is happening with these aliens coming to Earth. Whereas Scarlett Johansson is the centerpiece of her film. She is the character, even more so than Murray's character, who is, to reference the title, lost in translation. She's a character who quite literally finds herself in a world in Japan that she doesn't understand, but she also finds herself in a marriage to a Hollywood photographer, living in a world she doesn't understand, in a marriage she's not 100% sure if she loves or regrets that she went into it. And Johansson at the time was, 17 when she was cast, 18 by the time the movie finished filming, moving from being a young actress into an adult actress. And I think the fact that she connected so deeply with the character allowed her to be the centerpiece of this film and carry it to the level that it did. And the fact that it picked up 4 or 5 major nominations that this film should contend in, including winning screenplay, and she wasn't even looked at for a nomination, is a bigger snub than saying none of the actors in Arrival got nominated, because they're not the focus. The overall scope and scale of the film is, and that was awarded by the Academy.
Okay. I'm so glad you're done. I'm going to interrupt you because guess what? You just said you can't say one performance is the biggest Oscar snub. I can. I'm actively doing that. That's the question. Amy Adams not even getting nominated is a bigger snub than Scarlett Johansson not even getting nominated. Again, you can substitute Amy Adams for any other actress. I really don't think you can. Amy has proven time and time again she's a fantastic actress. The fact that she hasn't won an award yet is mind-boggling. And the fact that she wasn't even nominated, Leonardo DiCaprio didn't win for the longest time. And then finally for The Revenant, it felt like he was given it. It didn't matter what movie he was in. You deserve an Oscar, so we're going to give it to you. The fact that the Oscars didn't even do that with Amy Adams in Arrival is very confusing.
Because the year that Leo won the Oscar, there wasn't a performance in the year that could legitimately contend and overpower the fact that he deserved the Oscar. Again, Emma Stone gives the performance of her career, and I would argue with those other nominations, Natalie Portman is giving maybe the second best performance of her career, and certainly Ruth Negga and Isabelle Huppert, 2 actresses that don't ever get time in the spotlight, deliver career best performances. Adams is an incredible actress, but I think that makes it harder for Arrival to stand out amongst her performances because it doesn't give her as much as the other films she was nominated do. Hell, even Vice, a film I don't love, gives her more room to shine as an actress, hence why she was nominated.
The fact that she can make a scene happen when it is her and 2 CGI characters, the heptapods, that aren't even there, and she's able to perform. At least with Ahmed Best in Star Wars, he was there, he was suited up. She's looking at nothing and having an amazing performance. That doesn't demand a nomination.
And that's time. All right. So now we're going to get into the 1-minute closings, and we're starting with Aaron.
Tons of actors have delivered good performances against CGI. I said, for just to use a recent reference in cinema, I said that part of the reason Catherine Newton was probably cast in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is because she'd already delivered performances alongside CGI in Pikachu, and she was good in that film. That doesn't mean she's Oscar worthy. Just because Amy Adams had scenes where she acted against nothing doesn't mean she's worthy of an Oscar. At the end of the year, Adams is an incredible actress, and I agree with you. The fact that she hasn't won is a crazy concept, but she gave a performance that was standard for her, an excellent performance, even in a year where you had multiple actresses delivering the best performances of their career, none the least Emma Stone, who was not nominated, where you have Scarlett Johansson, who at a very young point in her career is holding a film up and elevating it to a new level because of her performance and the emotion that she drives into it. And the fact that you had someone like Diane Keaton, who was given a legacy nomination, or Keisha Castle-Hughes from Whale Rider, who got a nomination off the fact that it was hyped because she was younger. I just don't think that
And that's time. All right. So now Papa can close out his this round with his closing minute.
going back to my Leonardo DiCaprio comments, Bryan Cranston in Trumbo, Matt Damon in The Martian, Michael Fassbender and Steve Jobs, all amazing performances, all enough of a performance not to just give Leonardo DiCaprio the Oscar. That's not what I'm going to talk about for the rest of this, though. The fact that Scarlett Johansson wasn't nominated has nothing to do with her being a bad actress or a bad performance. It has everything to do with Charlize Theron won for Monster. Fantastic performance. Keisha Castle Hughes for Whale Rider. Never saw it, but I bet that's an amazing movie. Diane Keaton, Something's Got to Give. That's a great one. Samantha Morton in America, another really good one. Naomi Watts in 21 Grams, another fantastic one. I don't think she deserved a nomination. She was up against, just like what you said with Amy Adams, great actresses giving some of their best performances. The only difference is Amy Adams gave a much better performance than at least 5 of the women nominated in her year. Scarlett Johansson, not really. She did good. Better than 8-Legged Freaks.
And that's time. All right. Great round, guys. We're going to throw you in the back, bring on the judges. That would be including me. Yeah, okay. So we'll go ahead and start with Zach this round. Tell us who won it for you, Zach. Keep it to around 30 seconds. Yep.
I went with Aaron in this round for 2 reasons. One, I felt like he was better able to accurately talk about Scarlett Johansson's performance and how she was more necessary and crucial, as well as delving into Arrival and how it was more based on around the focus of the movie and the exposition rather than the overall performances. So for that, I went with Aaron.
All right, great. First point goes to Aaron. So now we're going to go down to Andrea. Tell us who won it for you and keep it around 30 seconds.
Okay, this came for me up to the closing arguments, but at the, in this round, I would have to go with Papa West. So you have to decide on this one, Chad. My reason is I think that Papa West was really able to hit home. That there were really great actresses in that particular year of the Oscars when Scarlett Johansson was supposed to be nominated. So he was able to really explain for me the reasons for his when compared to like Amy Adams, Scarlett Johansson thing. So I'd have to give it to Papa West this round.
All right, yeah. That actually makes a lot of sense that this was split because I was going back and forth myself as well. This was a really great round. Both picked really great choices here and defended them very well. I am also going with Aaron. The reason why I'm going with Aaron this round is because, Papa tried to like kind of sell like the legacy award a little bit, and that didn't really work for me. But like what Aaron did, was basically talk about how he talked about the film, the performance in the film. I think a little bit more talked about how the film doesn't really work without her, and whereas like Denis Villeneuve was able to craft a film that could have worked without Amy Adams, and she might elevate it a little bit, but you could probably replace her with someone else. Whereas with Lost in Translation, I feel like that's kind of ScarJo's movie, and she's the only kind of thing that didn't get nominated that year or that for that film, because you had like picture, director, Bill Murray, screenplay, stuff like that. So Aaron's argument really worked for me. Aaron gets the point for this round, and we'll thank you, judges. Kick the judges back and then bring the competitors back out, and then we will move on to the second question. I wish I had my notes. Here we go. All right. Nope, I need to pull them back up. Okay. Second question number 2. What was it? All right. Question number 2. I wanted to have a little bit of help writing this match, so I asked my wife, Carrie. I said, Carrie, can you think of any questions? And all she said was best cat. So we wrote, what is the best cat in film history? We're big cat fans. We have quite a few. I won't say the number. We got a lot. We love cats, and when cats pop up in movies, it makes you happy, unless they're like a villain in like a Disney thing or something. We don't like to talk about that. But there's some great choices here. I'll let these guys reveal it to you, and we're going to start with Papa this round. So I'll kick myself out. And yep, Papa, time begins when you begin speaking.
So, if we know anything, is that Papa the dog man, he does not like cats. So the fact that I have to answer a question about cats, the best movie cat, I'm gonna go with Pet Cemetery, where the cat's dead, and then they ruin it when they bring the cat back to life. No, I can't do that. Oh, okay. So I'm just gonna ramble for a little bit. I'll give you an answer. Why I give that answer? The cat, also known as Felis catus, because that's a great name, is a domestic species of small carnivorous mammal. It is the only domesticated species in the family Felidae, and is commonly referred to as the domestic cat or the house cat to distinguish it from the wild members of the family. There's a long Wikipedia article that I'm reading. I'm not going to keep reading it because that would be boring as crap, and I'm not Zach Shelton. There are several cats in the world of movies. The best comes from a ginger American short-haired tomcat known as Jones, or Jonesy, from the movie Alien.
All right, and that's time. Yeah, I think Papa was trying to refer to Church from Pet Cemetery. A great movie cat as well, but no one picked that. Now we're going to go over to Aaron for his opening minute. Time begins when you begin speaking.
I just question how Papa thinks he'll pick up points when he keeps insulting 1/3 of the judges panel. That's not going to go in your favor, buddy, eventually. All right, so if anybody's wondering as to why Papa spent a minute and a half, or not a minute and a half, a minute bullshitting and reading a Wikipedia article, it's because he picked a cat of which you can say fucking nothing about, whereas I've picked an actual character. The best cat in film history is one that I think you need to have a character behind it, and there's enough of those that exist. And I think this is probably one of the longest running cats in film history, and their most recent entry in this franchise established fully the three dimensions behind this character to solidify it for me, and that is Puss in Boots. Specifically, I'll be using examples from Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Spoilers, I apologize if you haven't seen it yet, but you've had like 2.5 months to do so that's on you. Puss in Boots is easily the most three-dimensional cat that's ever been applied to screen, and I think this film is the one that solidifies it and shows all angles properly.
All right, and that's time. Two great movie cats. Can't wait to get into this round. We're going to go back to Papa for his 2-minute expansion. Time begins when he begins speaking.
I picked a character that's hardly ever there. Yeah, whatever, Aaron. Jonesy is in quite a bit of the movie. Who's there when Brett gets killed by the alien? Jonesy the cat. Who hisses at the alien trying to scare it? Jonesy the cat. Who is there for Ripley at the end of the movie, giving her her only companion? Jonesy the motherfucking cat. You say my cat is not in the movie. There are several quotes given directly to my character. Yes, I did not pick the main character of a movie. And you know why? Because Jonesy has to be a cat. Because the fact that Jonesy is a cat makes sense to Jonesy as a character. Jonesy is the only person to look at the alien and not get scared. Actually, be physically trying to attack it, and then the alien runs away. The alien gets scared of Jonesy, and don't be like, well, the alien can't attack cats because it's not a human creature. It only attacks aliens. In Alien 3, the alien attacks a dog and impregnates the dog with the little weird alien creature thingamajiggies. So yes, aliens can attack animals. The fact that the alien xenomorph was too afraid of Jonesy the cat, yeah, Jonesy the cat's the best animal. And as far as Puss in Boots goes, you pick the main character of a fun movie. Guess what? Puss in Boots could be any animal. In fact, Puss in Boots is pretty much just Antonio Banderas animated. That doesn't make Puss in Boots special. In fact, that kind of makes Puss in Boots kind of boring, in my opinion. But you know who's not boring? Jonesy the cat. 15 seconds left. I don't care. I guess I have to say I concede and wait for Chad to pop up.
All right. No, I was going to see if you were just going to bullshit for the rest of the seconds. Yeah, we'll let it count down, and then
We just lost 2 viewers during that. Thanks, Papa.
Aaron can begin his 2-minute expansion whenever.
Okay, so let's start with this. If you want to cite franchise lore from the third entry of a series that was critically panned and very directly ripped out of a director's hands, sure, that's fine. We can cite that. I'm not going to say it didn't attack it because it's not the same genetic makeup as a human. That's absolutely fine, though it is completely true for the making of this film. Jonesy is in the film for all of 3.5 minutes of its entire runtime. He is in, I believe, about 36 individual shots, most of which are confined to the same scenes, and it's just a cut back and forth between other characters. Yes, he is there when the character Brett dies, but if I remember correctly, that's because Brett is trying to rescue the cat because the cat is in no way self-sufficient to save itself. It tries to fight the alien because it's locked behind a cage. Like, it can't do anything anyway, so it might as well just stare at it. Plus, it's already seen the alien in the film. Jonesy is the thing that's used more as a plot device than a character to just foreshadow that the alien's there because you get facial reactions out of it. Look, it's a very cute cat. I'm not going to deny it. It's a nice little relief every time it shows up in the film. It makes you feel good to know that it survived the end with Ripley, but it's nothing more than a cat. Whereas I would argue Puss in Boots, first off, Puss in Boots being a cat is 100% essential to the character. For starters, in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, the entire plot of the film is based around the fact that Puss in Boots, a cat who carries 9 lives, is down to his last life and is now feeling the sense of mortality, one of which that he has never felt. And this is what's used to fully three-dimensionalize this character we've come to love over the course of the Shrek series. He is now fearful. He has panic attacks. He runs in the face of danger instead of staring it head on. He develops and grows as a character because he learns for the first time he has to actually rely on those around him in order to succeed, and grows as a character. In addition to that, he has all the traits that a normal cat has that are shown throughout the film.
All right, and that's time. Reminds me, we're going to the 4 minutes now, right?
Yes.
All right, and we're going to the 4 minute debate. Guys, have fun.
Yes, Chad. Going to the 4 minutes directly after each competitor gets their 2 minutes is generally how a debate works in TMG Entertainment.
I would just like to note that he has now personally attacked 2/3 of our judging panel. Mathematically, I should just win. We should just call it a night. There's no way he's picking up points now. But go ahead, please talk about the cat that has 3.5 minutes of screen time. I would love to hear the detail of this cat that you can give me.
I find it I wonder where you find that Jonesy has only 3.5 minutes of screen time, because when Ripley is petting Jonesy, as they are leaving, or not leaving, but finally defeated the alien, definitely feels a lot more than 3.5 minutes. But that being said, what do you remember from Alien? You remember an amazing creature horror movie, and you also remember a cat. So the fact that Jonesy only gets 3.5 minutes of screen time,
dude,
and gives an amazing performance.
I saw Alien in film class and forgot there was a cat in it until you mentioned it for this fight. What I remember is the incredible ensemble of performances that are in that film, because it's not just Sigourney Weaver. You also have Ian Holm. You also have, even in the smaller roles, John Hurt and Yaphet Kotto. The entire cast is what makes that film, and the way that they sell the tension in these scenes. The cat is a cat. It's a cute cat, but there is nothing more to this cat than being a cat. Whereas Puss in Boots has everything that this cat has, okay? This cat stares down the alien in the face of danger. Well, Puss in Boots stares literal fucking death down by the end of this film and challenges him to a sword fight. He destroys Death's weapon and kicks it back to him and says, "Pick it up. Let's go for round 2." Okay, he's cute. He has obviously the recurring segment through the films, which we see in this movie once again, of him being able to do the cute face to convince you. He also always lands on his feet like an actual cat does. It helps him engage in sword fighting because it shows that he has balance and acrobatics. He also, in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, lives in existence for a short period of time as an actual house cat. He goes to stay with, I forget the old woman's name, played by Divine Joy Randolph, but he goes to stay with her and lives as a cat in order to sort of mull over and deal with the initial feeling of being mortal and having one life left to live, which again is something that is only associated in the mythology of cats. Look,
so
Jonesy,
now I'm gonna stop you. I'm gonna stop you, Aaron.
Sure, please.
I'm gonna stop
I'd
you.
love to hear what you can bring.
Because I just want to ask a really quick question. If you've ever been in a video call with Chad or Jordan Pierce Owens, how many times did their cat pop up? Not a lot. but it's like at those important moments, right when the tension is building, right when you're not expecting a cat to pop up, boom,
Dude, there's
there's
no
a cat.
as the
Because
person who
that's what
watches.
cats do. And the fact
Okay.
that is Jonesy to a T makes it so much better. That is a cat.
Okay,
That's
as
the
the
best cat.
as this is the most this is not there's no way that I can make this sound not creepy, but as the person who has seen Chad the most in the league, because I can see every judge behind the scenes when I host a match, the cat's often just crawling across the table at random moments. In fact, he often has to shove it off the table so that it's not in his way when he tries to speak when he comes on screen to judge or compete. If anything, the cat sometimes comes off as more of a nuisance than any kind of emotional companion. Sure, there may be the odd time where there's intensity within a match and the cat feels it and shows up to console him, because sure, that is a thing that a cat does. But more often than not, it's just crawling around the house because that's what cats do. They're just sort of there. And that's what Jonesy is in Alien. He is just there. Puss in Boots brings every cute element that you have with a cat and combines it with an actual proper character that has depth, flesh, emotional relationships. You could have picked a cat that has that. Look at the cat from Homeward Bound. Look at Simba from The Lion King. It's not my fault that you picked a fucking house cat on an alien
Ooh,
ship as your
Simba's
mate.
a lion, not a cat.
And that's time.
Lions
All
are
right.
cats. Read
So
that
now,
Wikipedia page.
Aaron, it's time. Now,
Fuck you.
now
It's my
we're
week.
gonna go to Papa for his closing minute.
Aaron, you are only allowed to talk during the 4 minutes. Everything you say after that is null and void. Learn how to debate, Aaron. That being said, every time Chad has been on screen in this match, have you seen his cat? No. So that just null and voids your entire argument. Cats pop up at the inopportune time. Guess what? The cat pops up when Brett dies. That's an inopportune time for Brett. The fact that the crew are physically looking for Jonesy proves they want Jonesy. Jonesy is not just a throwaway character. Jonesy has to be there because Jonesy's a cat. And everybody, well, not everybody loves cats, but cats are great. That being said, Puss in Boots doesn't have to be a cat. And for that exact reason, not the best cat. Jonesy, the best cat, because Jonesy is actually a cat. They don't actually have 9 lives. That's a myth. The fact that they played with this whole, he has 9 lives, doesn't even exist, isn't real. Puss in Boots, not the best cat. He could have been any other creature.
All right, that's time. Now we're gonna go to Aaron for his closing minute.
I would again like to point out, using behind the scenes knowledge of Movie Battleground to aid my argument, that the reason that we haven't seen Chad's cat is because Chad has had his camera off in order to remain in the call and speak to us at the opportune moment so as not to be on screen but still be in the call with us. I'm sure his cat is crawling around as we speak. Chad, you can confirm or deny when you have the chance to at the end of the round. Look, at the end of the day, Jonesy is a cute cat. I'm not going to deny it. It's a nice sense of relief every once in a while in Alien when the cat pops up, but it's nothing more than a cat in an Alien film. It's the least important thing in the film, and it's just there to be an added cute element. They aren't actively looking for the cat. Only Brett is, and he dies because of it. In fact, he dies while searching for it. And Ripley probably only saves the cat because by the end of the film, you need the emotional help from the cat. So, of course, she's going to save it. It's the only living thing. You also continue to say that Puss in Boots doesn't need to be a cat, but you've given me 0 reasons. The entire basis of this film is centered around things that are connected to cats, and you can't say that 9 Lives thing is fake because the movie opens with this is a fairy tale, so
And
it's legit.
that's time. All right, great rounds, guys. So bring myself in, and the other judges will come in, and so we'll go ahead and start with Andrea this time.
Okay, my vote for this round goes to Aaron. I think he was able to counter a lot of Papa West's digs at Puss in Boots. And he was able to like show that Puss in Boots is a mixture of on how Puss in Boots is a mixture of character and cat. So I think that's really a very powerful argument for me. So I'm giving that vote to him.
All right, yeah, and I'll just keep going like third, so as a potential tiebreaker. So I'll let Zach go second.
Okay, I'm going to say this in the nicest way. Aaron destroyed Jacob in this round. In terms of Jacob had no way to defend against everything that Aaron said. Aaron tore down Jonesy, but also gave so many great examples for Puss in Boots. So, in the nicest way, Aaron destroyed Jacob in this round.
All right. So, yep, Jacob gets the point. I mean, sorry, Aaron gets the point. Sorry. I will go ahead and say, as they come back on, my cats are not nuisances. I love them very, very, very much. I had a little Thackeray Binks in my lap at one point, but I think that might have even been like when the match was just getting started. It was very fun being in the question a lot. I'll say, the cats are sometimes in the way of a stream, but they're never a nuisance. That being said, yeah, this was actually hard. Kind of because I did like Papa bringing in the this is a cat thing. So I was very interested to see if he could pull it out, but he didn't really sell the companionship as much as I thought. Yeah, great round. So now let's go into round number 3, question number 3. I don't know why this came to me. I think I was just thinking of different, disability representation and how we're getting a lot more of it and stuff like that. Even if you have recently watched the Brian Tyree Henry Oscar-nominated movie Causeway, there's some stuff in there. So it's a lot. And then there was a movie that Mike had talked about last year that was highly nominated. Yeah, so I was like, you know what? Let's have a disability representation question. So the question is, what is the best performance in a film featuring disability representation? I was like, is that good wording? I don't know. I think
I was going to say, I did adjust it slightly just to...
Perfect. It sounds like great wording to me either way. So you get the point, and these guys have some interesting picks here. So
wait, why does Aaron get the point? We haven't started this yet.
Oh, is this over?
You can't award him the point yet.
Someone gets the point yet. Let's actually do this round because it's going to be a fun one. Aaron is Aaron is starting this one. So time begins when you begin speaking.
That's exactly why I don't point. That shit's a bitch to try and remember what side you got to point to. Holy fuck. All right. Let's get into this. Since I've made it an unfortunate habit of openly criticizing people's questions, this will be the nicest criticism I've ever given. Yay, 2 performance questions. Nothing better than talking about a really technical aspect of a film that you can get lost in the entirety of the film with. With that said, though, I think the answer is, as Chad aforementioned, to a very recent film that I think not only provided good representation for a disability that a lot of people may not know about, but I think the fact that it was a performance that was true to the actual disability boosted it. And I went with Troy Kotzer from Coda as the father of the family, Frank Rossi. At the end of the day, Troy Kotzer himself is actually deaf, as are the other actors in the film, which, as I'll explain when we get into the 2 minutes, I think goes a long way in helping both the viability of this film and the performances within it, specifically Kotzer's. But I also think the fact that Kotzer delivers a performance with the emotional range of any other Academy Award-winning performance.
That's time. All right. Yeah, so we're going to go over to Papa for his opening minute when he begins speaking. So the time will start.
I just want to say, Aaron, the second you answered with Puss in Boots from whatever movie that just came out featuring Puss in Boots, I'm like, that's going to be a fun, interesting argument that I have no chance of winning. So I'm just going to shit on cats for a while. That's going to be fun. But now we must get into question number 3. Best performance of all time in a film featuring disability representation. I guess we both went with performances of people who are with a disability. I'm not Henry Sanchez, so I'm going to try to think wisely before I say words, which is very hard to do whenever you are in a very heated debate like this. 2001 saw a movie featured I Am Sam, where Sean Penn gives an amazing performance where he plays Samuel Dawson, a gentleman who is mentally handicapped. That's a good way to say it. He wins the Oscar for Best Performance, so it's obviously a great performance.
And that's time. All right, so we're going to move back to Aaron for his 2-minute expansion.
Sorry, my apologies. All right. Okay, so in Coda, Troy Kotzer as the father of the family. First off, I do want to point out a quick fact check because I checked these things. Sean Penn was nominated for I Am Sam. He did not win. Troy Kotzer did win for Coda, though. Not that that should be the deciding factor, but it is worth noting. Kotzer's performance is probably the most complex in a series of great performances within Coda. He serves as kind of a bouncing off point for each character. Every member of the family is sort of dealing with some sort of major existential crisis. You know, Ruby wants to follow her dreams and not feel held back by her family. Kotzer's wife in the film, played by Marlee Matlin, kind of it wants to sort of keep things the way they are because she sees the situation they're in right now as stable as it's going to get. And then the son Leo wants to sort of step up and take over the role that Ruby's had to play to show that he can be independent despite his disability, which we see given in multiple ways throughout the film. And I think that Frank serves as a character who perfectly kind of aligns with everybody in this really unique way, where he sees what everybody wants and he wants them to achieve what they want, but he also understands that the reality of the situation is certain sacrifices are going to have to be made, and I think he does a great job of portraying that. As I said before, Kotzer is deaf, so I think it delivers a little bit more of a genuine portrayal for the film than I Am Sam has. And of all the actors, Kotzer delivers the biggest gut punch of the film in that scene at the end when he has Ruby sing to him with his hand to her throat. And I think that Kotzer delivers a performance in just facial expressions that most actors would take a monologue. You know, when you think of that Oscar moment, you think of these big monologues that win you awards. Kotzer delivers it with a facial expression. I don't have enough time to get into it here because I chose to focus on my performance, but Penn is good in I Am Sam, but the movie itself takes a very bare bones basic approach towards handling his disability, and I think that the way they've approached the character holds back his performance.
And that's time. All right, so now we're going to move over to Papa for his 2-minute expansion.
Well, let me tell you about the second biggest snub in Oscar history. Whoever beat Sean Penn for Best Actor definitely didn't deserve that. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Troy Kotzer is already deaf, so he's not really acting deaf. I'm not gonna say that hampers his performance, but Sean Penn is not mentally challenged in real life, and the fact that he can give a believable performance as somebody who is fighting for the custody of his child. I kind of got tearful of that. That is a fantastic performance. I will say Troy's is good, but we also got to remember this is 2021, so there is a little bit of recency bias here. Let's check back in 10 years and see if it still holds up. He won the Oscar for Best Performance. 2021, not a great year for movies. So were there really a lot of performances out there against him? I don't really think so. Whereas Sean Penn, I don't know who beat him. They didn't deserve it. He should have won that. But we're not going to talk about that. What I can talk about is still today, people look to Sean Penn for two movies, Milk as one of them, and I Am Sam as the second one. So it definitely, that performance still holds up today. In fact, in 2008, Tropic Thunder, that great parody movie, made a joke about not going full stupid, I think is the actual, I don't remember the exact quote either. I don't remember it, or I don't want to say it because it's a really bad word that they say. Kind of making fun, not really making fun, but in like that fun parody way of I Am Sam, because he does kind of, go full mentally challenged, but not in a bad way, still in a great way of highlighting people can live with their disability. I am disabled. I battle epilepsy every day. I haven't had a seizure in a while because I fight it every day. And it gives me knowledge. It gives me hope knowing that, hey, you can live with it. That I get from I Am Sam.
All right, and that is time. So now, wait. No, Psych, I know. We're going to the 4 minutes. You guys have fun.
Okay, so just to quickly clean up, because I am the fact check guy, to clean up a couple of facts here. Sean Penn was beaten by Denzel Washington that year for the Oscar. And for starters, Troy Kotzer was considered the underdog for the award that year. He beat both Ciarán Hinds for Belfast and both Jesse Plemons and Cody Schmidt-McPhee for The Power of the Dog, both of which were considered frontrunners, as that movie was for a long time at the Oscars. So to say that there were not a competition of performances, maybe in terms of film overall, but in that category, there were at various points 4 performances that vied for that award. technically, if you want to count one that wasn't nominated, also from Belfast and Jamie Dornan, a lot of people were backing him as well. And Kotzer upset both of those films and the various performances within them to win the award. Secondly, let's talk about I Am Sam. As I said, the movie itself and the way that it portrays his disability, I think is just, quite frankly, it's just manipulative. All they say in the film is that he has the IQ of a 7-year-old. They don't ever actually state that he has any disability further than that. And if you look up interviews with real life people who have the IQ of a 7-year-old, they are perfectly normal people who may process information a little bit slower or take more time to learn concepts that are above a certain grade level. In the movie, again, they say 7-year-old first grade. That's a part of the plot of the film. I Am Sam and the performance that Penn gives as Sam Dawson is essentially a laundry list of every trait that a person who has never dealt with somebody who is on the spectrum, because that's how they're portraying him, is on the spectrum, could be, down to his physical movements, to the way that he speaks, to the little tics and obsessions, his obsession with the Beatles, which is referenced multiple times throughout the film, including the naming of his daughter. The movie's message is intended well, but it's incredibly manipulative in the way that it goes about delivering it. And I think that hinders the performance that Penn could have given. Whereas if they had just let him play the actual disability that he has in the film as described, instead of making him go full Leonardo DiCaprio in What's Eating Gilbert Grape, which is defined in that film as having autism and ADHD, then I think the performance wouldn't have felt as manipulative as it does, because it feels like you're shooting for the stars and going for an Oscar win on a disability performance, whereas Kotzer's feels more genuine.
You can say it's manipulative. I personally like the fact that they never fully go out there and say he is what he is. I feel dirty saying it. I'm not gonna lie, and that's why I keep kind of like barely saying mentally challenged and stuff like that, because I don't want to pull a Henry Sanchez.
I'll say it for you. The movie consistently uses the term retard. That's also the term that is used in Tropic Thunder, probably because it is said in I Am Sam, but that's not appropriate, and I won't hold that against Penn at all. That's not his choice.
Yeah. So I actually really enjoy the fact that they don't overly state the fact that he is mentally challenged. You say that's kind of manipulative. I'll let you say that. That's just your opinion. Because it still kind of gives it doesn't beat over the audience's head. Hey, he's mentally challenged. He can't think for himself. And it kind of, well, that's really not that well. I think I don't see that it does that, what you're saying. I mean, yes, he gets bullied for it, but that's because people are assholes sometimes.
He is so mentally handicapped that a plot point in the film is that his own daughter doesn't want to learn more than she feels that he is capable of learning. What is more manipulative than saying that your character is so disabled that literally his child feels like she could advance him at the age that she's at?
That's just being realistic on some things. Also, Amelia Jones gives a much better performance than Conan.
And that's time. So now we're going to go to, we're going to Aaron, right?
Yes.
We're going to Aaron first for his closing minute.
I'm gonna reiterate what you were saying there. I agree with you. I think Amelia Jones does give a great performance, and I think that character is really well written. But I think the genuineness of Kotzer's performance, the fact that it is something that he lives every day, and the fact that he brings it to the screen so well and portrays it in such an emotional manner, again, he gets to have as an actor that Oscar-winning scene at the end of the film with Amelia Jones, and he doesn't get a monologue. He doesn't get this extended discussion and back and forth. He gets facial reactions and movements because of the disability he lives with, and he still delivers the gut punch that an average actor would deliver with so much more. I'm sorry. I feel the fact that I Am Sam doesn't properly define what his disability is does make it manipulative. Penn is delivering a performance that feels like a mixture of every other character. I think that films like Rain Man and What's Eating Gilbert Grape do the same thing that Penn is doing, but they don't manipulate you into thinking a certain way about the character, and the performance feels more genuine. Penn is a great actor, but the script does not give him the right to it.
And that's time. All right, so now we're going to go over to Papa for his closing minute.
So I think I can form the words I was trying to think of earlier. The fact that they don't openly say that he is mentally challenged, and you have these, he has the mental capacity of a 7-year-old and all this. It still like kind of leads up to interpretation without saying, "Hey, he's mentally challenged or he's stupid or whatever." And I really like that. I understand you can call that manipulative. That's just your opinion. I did think Amelia Jones, as the only hearing person in that family, gives a much better performance. I will say, Kotzer, that scene where she is singing and he's holding her throat. My mom has dealt with deaf children for most of her teaching career, so I'm very familiar with the deaf community. I really enjoyed that. That was great. But that one scene compared to a whole trial storyline in mind that does a lot better of a job of tugging at your heartstrings. You have this foster family that loves his daughter too, but he still wants her because he loves her more. More emotional.
And that's time. All right, great round, guys. We're gonna bring out myself and the other judges. Yeah, so I'll continue the trend, and we'll go back to Zach first this time. Who'd you pick and why? 30 seconds.
I went with Aaron for this round as well, more because I felt like he was able to delve more into Kotzer's performance while also giving some counters for Jacob's pick. So for that, I went with Aaron.
All right, and go over to Andrea. Who'd you have?
I also went with Aaron in this round. I think he was able to. What I really liked about the argument was that he was like stating how, or putting a lot of emphasis into how the Sean Penn's performance in that movie was a bit manipulative in a sense. He was able to really hit home, and I think Papa West wasn't able to like counter it in a definitive way that would show that it's really not manipulative, or it's not what it should be. So I'm giving that point to Aaron for this round.
All right, perfect. I do want to say three things. Okay, I do want to say three things. One, Coda deserved to win Best Picture. I love that movie so much. Second, the scene that Papa brought up, that was Troy Kotzer, feeling her throat and stuff like that. Cry every time. That's one of the best scenes ever. Third, and your winner, Aaron Connole. What's up,
Yep.
man? How's it feel? This was a knockout.
It was. I actually my sarcastic dickhead comment at the start was right. I'm sorry to drag Noah into the collateral fire, but I did knock out the guy who beat Papa twice, so I guess I should knock Papa out too. No, listen, man. Jacob's gonna do what Jacob's gonna do. I do love Papa. This was a fun match. Look, for 150th match, I thought we could position a title match or a number one contenders match, or we could just put up something that I thought would be fun. And we did put up something that I thought would be fun. And look, I know Papa goes on and on about his contracts and his this, that, and the other. And look, I'm still gonna force him to play if I can. I would love to have him continue with us because he is a good debater. He didn't show that tonight, but he is a good debater. No, that's a cheap shot. No, I love Jacob, man. He's great. This was a lot of fun. Yeah, and it was a fun match. I'm glad it went well.
Yeah, guys, we all know Aaron can be savage sometimes. It's fine. He's a great commish, so he's earned that right to do that. Yeah, it's definitely always fun to see you and Papa, and to see you guys face off was pretty enjoyable. I thought you guys had some pretty incredible choices here. And I didn't know how it was going to go down. I thought maybe the cat one might be like a little bit more competitive, but as soon as you started like going in on like Puss is an actual character, Jonesy kind of even though it's one of my favorite movie cats as well.
It's a cat.
I think you really like sold that. Like, even though the question wasn't like who's the best cat character, I think you still sold that. Like he did a lot of really great cat stuff. So yeah, your skills were just like on point this time, and you really crushed this one.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great start to the year to win 2 matches in a row. Sorry, Papa. Sorry, Chad. But It's a good start for me. It doesn't really mean anything to me because if I've made anything clear, it's that I am not one to proposition myself for any kind of title match unless I truly feel like I've earned it. So I'm gonna have to win a couple more times before I even think about putting myself in that position. But I enjoy winning, so I'll happily take the W. Listen, I know I took shots and I made jokes and all that shit, but Papa, it was a great match, man. Always a pleasure to have you, and I look forward to the next time, guys.
Do we know what is next for Mr. Aaron Connole in the league?
No, but I can promise you this. Obviously, we're in a weird position now because, with the exception of the end of year tournaments, which will continue barring any major issues, I've moved away from using tournaments and mini brackets and things like that. It is more of a free schedule type of thing. The first opponent I gave myself of the year was yourself, and my justification was we were both former title match contenders. And I will continue using some sort of similar justification. All I know is I'm going to give myself the strongest player on the roster available so that if I do continue winning, I can at least say that I've earned it.
Absolutely. And
I should say strongest person on the roster available. I'm not just going to keep playing Rue for the hell of it, but whoever's on deck, you know what I mean? I'll put myself up against happily.
Makes sense. I can't wait for that next match because you're on a roll. So, all right, let's kick Aaron out and bring on the unfortunate. I would probably say second place finisher, but he usually on TMG calls people losers. So the loser of this match, and his buddy here. What's up, guys? How does it feel? Come in second place there, Papa.
Yes, Tato, thank you for being here. Tato, how do you think I did?
I think you did fantastically. There's obviously some heavy judge bias going on, so yeah, we can't do anything about that, but it is what it is, I guess.
And Aaron's comments about making fun of two of the three judges. Zach, you just had that face. I'm sorry. And Chad, I've known you for years, and you've never once given me a reason not to hate you. But y'all thinking at home, Papa, why would you challenge Aaron? I mean, that just doesn't make sense. You were 3-4. He was whatever his record was. It just doesn't make sense. And you're right. It doesn't make sense. I had a personal vendetta that I had to take care of. And I should be getting that any second now. I need to take care of. And I had to get Aaron on screen. And I wanted to get this recorded. And he should be here by now. Good. You can't get great help anywhere. Oh, hey, you're here. Oh, you brought it. Thank you. Gosh, you can see my arm. That was a horrible visual.
All right, Papa. What the hell are you doing? What's with the antics? What do we?
So, Aaron, you might be thinking to yourself, "What is in your hand?" And I just got a letter. I just got a letter. I wonder who it's from. That was from Blue's Clues. I didn't sing it to avoid copyright infringement. I have been having my lawyer.
They're still suing us. They need money.
I have been having my lawyer painstakingly look through this contract of yours that you forced me to sign, and he said he found something and he was going to mail it to me. Mr. West. Sounds very formal. I'm going to read it to everybody. I'm sorry you all have to be a part of this, but I think we're all going to really enjoy this. It took me a matter of 5 seconds to find a flaw in this contract. The fact that you told me that you read this many a times and couldn't find a flaw means you are incompetent. That's really harsh, but okay, thank you.
I don't pay him for kindness.
I really do. I don't pay him. He does this for free. So that's also another reason why he's very mad at me. There are two blatantly obvious issues with this supposed contract. The first being you signed Papa West. Your legal name is not in fact Papa West and is a nickname and cannot be used in a signature. But my name is Papa West. It says right there. The second is the fact that you signed it without getting it notarized. This means it could have been somebody else signing and not you, and in fact nullifies your contract. You hear that, Aaron? That contract is null and void. You cannot force me to compete. You have to ask me to compete. So, Aaron, ask me to keep competing. Right now, ask me to keep competing.
Good.
Oh, dear Papa, please, whatever will we do without you?
No. Papa is free. I'm done. As far as judging and hosting, that contract is null and void. All in one aspect. You can't keep me here.
Man, you really don't read your contracts, do you?
Not generally, no. Why?
Because I had you sign multiple different pages. I put them in 2 separate contracts.
Wait, what?
Yeah. And you signed Jacob West to the other one. So I got it notarized.
Wait, I have
Listen,
it here.
really, this is on you for not realizing the basics of contract law. Didn't you work for a cell phone company? You should be good at this.
You know what? You're done attacking me.
No,
There's
I'm
way you
clearly
can
not.
sign 2 contracts. Okay, so this is the first.
Yeah. Yeah, sit in that one, Papa. Sit in that one. Ladies and gentlemen, Papa West may be done competing, but you will see him here in the future. Tato, thank you for joining your bald-headed friend here. This embarrassment of an evening is over. Papa West, you don't have to compete ever again if you don't want to. It just wastes my time for future title matches. Chad, close us out.
All right. Well, I got to say that was pretty silly, but it's always a fun time here at the Movie Battlegrounds. Well, thank you, judges, for judging. Thank you, competitors. Thank you, Tato, for just appearing sometimes because that's always fun. Yeah, instead of a match, we actually are taking a break here at the Movie Battleground. But fear not, it will return on Monday, April 10th. With a 3-match week to kick off the next round of matchups, with the schedule coming soon to the Facebook pages. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the video, the channel, and watch the other matches. There's some great ones out there. I'm in some of them. A lot of fun. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.